So, welcome to Spotlight. My name is Charles, and your name is? Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Charles. Peter Haugen?
Peter Haugen. So,
Yes, sir.
Peter, why don't you tell me a little bit about your business? Who do you serve, and who are your customers?
Absolutely. So I work for First Western Bank and Trust in Eden Prairie. The bank is actually our headquarters is in Minot, North Dakota.
Okay.
And so bank started in 1964, and the first non-Minot bank to open was the Eden Prairie branch.
Really? Okay.
So we have 19 branches in 4 states right now, but we are a community bank. And what that means is that those local deposits are funding local loan growth.
Okay.
So if you're a depositor with us at Eden Prairie, you're helping grow the community, literally.
Literally. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm the consumer lender there, and that means your cars, boats, motors, trailers, but then I also work with our home equity products as well.
Okay. So, to piggyback off of growing the community, is that something that you speak to the customers or depositors, as you put it, and kind of educate them on that, on how they can continue to help grow the business from a banking perspective? Because most people, I don't think they know the ins and out of banking. So if you could talk a little bit about that and help educate me as if I was a depositor at your bank.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I mean, I think a lot of people think all banks are created equal.
Yes.
Which is not the case. Like any business, it has to do with ownership. It has to do with customer base. It has to do with the employees.
Yes.
All of that goes into creating a wonderful institution.
Yes.
Even though we are what I would say a regional bank, First Western Bank and Trust, we're about $2.2 billion in assets.
Wow.
Like I said before, we have 19 branches in 4 states. We are a community bank, like I said, but we're also privately held.
Okay.
So you can be privately held or publicly traded,
Okay.
right? So what I tell people is you can't serve 2 masters.
That's right.
So if you're publicly traded, the top of the food chain are the shareholders.
That's right.
Because we are privately held, we can when we say we're customer focused, we truly are.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day is what drives me professionally is that I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
Someone comes in, I work with money.
Yeah.
They need money for A, B, or C, and it's my responsibility to make sure my customer gets from point A to point B. Okay. And so a lot of it is education. A lot of it is listening.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be a good resource if I don't understand what they need.
Right.
So it's kind of the 80-20 proposition.
Yeah.
If you meet me for the first time and you're needing a loan for an automobile or you want to tap into equity for your home, I want you to do 80% of the talking. And I might do 20% of the talking, asking questions to understand what you need.
That's right.
Okay. And so from there, we set that base, and then I can move forward with options.
Okay.
I'm not spewing products to you. I have to understand what you need as a client before I can help you out.
Right.
And so I think that's really the mentality of the First Western Bank and Trust. Whether it's commercial or consumer, we have to understand our customers before we can help them.
Yeah, no, that, as you were talking, I was kind of in my mind thinking like, so what you're saying is through your questions, you're discovering information to fit the product that is best fit for the customer. So essentially you're like trying to discover and pull out of them through your knowledge that you have on how am I going to solve this problem best? So with that being said, tell me about your experience in banking. Like that to me, as I sit here, I'm like, you probably have to have a lot of education, experience, and knowledge within the banking system to provide the best needs. So tell me about how you got into banking and how long you've been doing it.
Absolutely. So like we had talked before the cameras started rolling, I've been in banking longer than I'd want to admit. So actually, I've been in banking and financial services since I graduated college.
Wow.
Here's the crazy thing. I was not a business major. I was a communications theater major.
Okay.
So I tell people I've been method acting as a banker since graduate, and no one's caught on yet. But here's what I can tell you. I always wanted to be client facing, regardless of what industry,
Yeah.
And so for me, it was more of a passion to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just so happened to fall into the banking and financial services.
Okay.
Okay. And for me, throughout my professional career, it's always about discovery. It's always about how I can help the client. And you bring up a good point, Charles. I mean, I don't have every product for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think with my professional associations with Eden Prairie Chamber of Commerce or some other networking groups I'm in, I have been able to create a group of trusted advisors
Mm-hmm.
in other areas and also with other banking institutions throughout the region. And so if someone comes into me and we sit down and we start having that conversation, I understand what that client is looking for, and we get to a point and I know that for whatever reason I'm not able to assist them, I'm going to be able to say, hey, I'd love to help you. I can't based on A, B, or C, but why don't you call Julie over here at XYZ Bank? Or
Mm-hmm.
why don't you give Matt a call over here at ABC Bank?
Mm-hmm.
I've known them for a while. I think they have the product and service that can help you, and I think they'll treat you well. And so my goal is that I want my client to get what they need. If it's with me, fantastic. But if it's with someone else, then I'm fine with that.
Wow, that's huge. I think just as it being a potential client or a client of yours, that goes so far to have a person that's not, money chasing or trying to slam me into something that may or may not fit. So I think that goes a long way for you. And it really says a lot about you as a person because you're looking for what's best for the client, whether that's with you or not. And I think that's huge. So good for you on that. To shift gears a little bit, I'm curious, what's a moment in your journey that kind of changed everything? Is there something that kind of sparks some change of direction, or tell me a little bit about your journey and if there was a deciding moment that kind of influenced where you are today?
Yeah. Like I said, I've always been in banking and financial services, and I've always wanted to assist others.
Yeah.
But early on in my career, I was at a smaller independent bank, and a couple came in, and they sat down and they just said, "We need some help." I said, "So what's going on?" Well, we have some credit card debt that we'd like to get rid of. I said, fantastic. So of course, the process is to fill out the application and
Mhm.
run the credit bureau and have that conversation with them. And they had over $60,000 in credit card debt.
Wow.
And we were able to, they had equity in their home.
Okay.
And so we were able to pull some of that equity out of their home to pay off those credit cards.
Wow.
And at the closing, they pulled out their credit cards on my desk, and I handed them a scissors, and they started cutting up their credit cards.
Wow.
And you could visibly see the relief on their face, and it was just like they had flipped the page and a new chapter had begun. And I sat there for a moment and thought, wow. I mean, if I was able to have a little bit of part in them getting to a better place
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that they had a new beginning, that was pretty powerful for me.
Wow.
And so I've carried them with me throughout my professional career, knowing that, just a little bit of help and assistance can go a long way to get someone on the right track.
That's incredible. I mean, I just want to take a quick moment just to acknowledge how impactful and how powerful that was. Just listening to you describe that, I felt that, and I see you're getting a little emotional. And I think as a person like myself and like you, who is really interested in helping people and have a deep, genuine passion for service, being of service to people, I think it's so incredible for you to have that in your back pocket and your breast pocket. Keep it close to you
Right.
as you're serving other people. man, I just think that we need a lot more people like you, especially within that industry, because financially, financials and being a person who, doesn't really come from a lot of money myself, I just think that it's such a difficult space within everyone's life.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to going to a bank and then actually getting help and having being it going in that direction to change your life for the better, I just think that that's such an incredible thing, man. So thank you for what you do, and I think that that is that is huge. I mean,
I appreciate that, Charles.
no, seriously. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, I want to give you a hug because I can just see that that was so powerful for you, and talk a little bit more about like getting emotional and really carrying that moment. How has that kind of been a springboard for what you do today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and just to kind of bring it back to what you were saying earlier, people hold their financial life very close to the vest.
Mhm.
And there's a joke in the banking world where we say people would rather go get a root canal than come in and talk about their financials
Yeah,
to a
no,
banker, right?
seriously, yeah, I definitely, yeah.
So, when someone comes in and they want to make an appointment and they want to sit down with you, it's a leap of faith sometimes.
It is.
And maybe they know me a little bit, maybe they don't know me, but they're putting their trust in me to treat their financials with respect and help them get from where they are now to another place.
Yeah.
And so I take that very personally and professionally.
Yeah.
I put myself in their role, and it is difficult sometimes. And
Mhm.
so when someone comes in and sits down, they're putting their faith in me.
Huge.
And like I said before, I'm either going to help them at First Western Bank and Trust, or I'm going to find somebody else who can continue that, where I can hand off the baton and
Yeah.
they can get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
But so in a way, it's one of those things where we just get back to knowing that they're trusting me to help them, and we'll have to again do that discovery.
Yeah.
Find out what truly they need and provide options.
Yeah, no, and I'm what is something within that, because I know that we talked about discovery, trying to figure out what's going on, how you can help them. What's something that you wish more people understood? I mean, especially from a financial, like I guess I would say you're kind of a financial expert being within banking and finances, right? Your average layman's person who's not in that industry, what's something that you wish that they understood more?
Sure. Money and credit, it's a tool, right?
Yes.
It's a tool. And so, some people can pay full price for something. Other people need loan to get them to where they need to go.
Yeah.
Automobile, house.
Yeah.
They want to finance a business, maybe pull some equity out. Maybe Johnny's going off to college and mom and dad want to help them with some finances.
Oh yeah.
Maybe someone wants to do a kitchen remodel.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a cottage industry and they want to expand their kitchen, maybe get some new equipment in there.
Yeah.
It's problem solving. We're providing solutions to a potential problem.
Right.
And like I said before, not all banks are created equal. For us, and I made a joke the other day at a chamber function. I said to the group, I said, if you like calling your bank and being put on hold for 20 minutes, if you like to wait 3-4 weeks for someone to call you back on a loan question,
Yeah.
if you have to go in and explain your financial history every other time you go in there because there's somebody new behind the counter,
Right.
First Western Bank and Trust is not the bank for you.
Wow.
Because we are totally opposite.
Totally opposite.
We're going to pick up the phone. We're going to greet you. We're going to ask you how we can help you. We have a really long tenure of employees at our Eden Prairie location.
Okay.
I kind of joke around. We're kind of like Cheers. Everybody knows your name when you walk in.
I love that.
We're going to be present for you. We're going to sit down. Like I said before, not all banks are created equal. Every client that walks in has his or her own story, and we have to treat them as such. We can't assume anything, and that's why we have to have that conversation. Well, that's why I want to get to know what you're looking to do. And that way I can provide the best service and the best products to you for exactly what you need.
That's incredible, Patrick. I think in closing, that's a real good way to kind of encapsulate everything that you've been talking about, everything that you guys do differently at, tell me the name again.
First Western Bank and
First
Trust.
Western Bank and
Yes,
Trust. I wanted to make sure I got every word in there
I
right.
appreciate that.
But man, you guys really separate yourself, and I think you get so personable and detailed that you got me wanting to go and sign up. So thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
I very much appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew Studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area, and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.